Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for Black Rose Wars Rebirth. This is for the stretch goal Kickstarter stuff. I'll mention link to Game Found, but the stretch goal content from the campaigns. So yeah, this is what's really neat is they put it in one big giant box with 6 mini expansions. So each one kind of like works the same way as the previous like retail expansions do. Same size boxes. They almost all have at least one mage in them. Plus then they have maybe a spell school of cards, or they'll have an avatar, or some other cool mechanic of the game. The box is also referred to as, so we can get this to focus, is ROTAS. Or ROTAS, which is the first name on there. So I don't know, it might be Italian. I'm not sure. I know it's Sador, which is the first one, which is the stretch goal box for the name of the original Black Rose Wars game. So Rebirth is ROTAS. It's kind of fun that it's going in backwards order. So I don't know if we'll get the other ones in there, or if they are references to some of the other games or not. But yeah, it's a pretty cool big box. It stores all your things. It would almost have been neat if we would have had another box like this to hold the other campaigns. There are 3 more boxes that were the regular goals. And then, like, with a couple of smaller ones, would have been kind of neat if you just would have been able to, like, slide, like, the Apocalypse box in there, and then, you know, like, something else, you know, then, like, one of the other ones, and then have, like, this. You could have had, like this one, like, other expansions, and then, like, even, like, the core set. Yeah, there's some really neat pictures on there, otherwise it's just a Black Rose. I don't think there's anything different on the bottom. Nope. So yeah, we'll hop through all 6 of these expansions. There's a picture on the inside, which is really cool. So this is just, I'm gonna flip these all around. And we'll have the 6 of them. Last Dynasty, Northwings, Antiquities, Once Upon a Time, Silk Road, and Madness. So let's go ahead and hop into these. Alright, so we're going to take a look at Northwings. So we're going up into the Hinterlands and getting some Asgardian inspired things. Expired. So Northern Wings here says, the Black Rose is calling upon her best heralds, Odin, who is to select the next champion from among the mages of the lodge. Viknir is one of the ones who will end Odin's life, and will the mages be able to tame it to gain favor of the Norse god? So yeah, we're going to get some really cool stuff in here. We are going to get, let's just hop right into the book and look at what we're going to get. Then we can start looking at the individual things. So we're going to get a brand new mage, their personal spell cards, a new school for Druidic, plus the reference for that. And then we're going to get 2 more Forgotten spells to summon some of our big baddies, 2 more evocation cards, plus 6 more regular evocation cards. We have 2 for the Forgotten, and then 6 regular for some extra miniatures, a brand new room and its activation token. And then we're also going to get our avatar components. For our avatar, we're going to get a fight off against Odin with his command cards, but we're also going to have Viknir, his hunted evocation card, and his irate evocation card. So this is a little, and then 12 champion tokens. So it's kind of a neat little different play. Instead of just like almost fighting necessarily against the avatar, you're actually helping to fight something that's hunting him down. And then our models will get Cormac, who's our mage, Odin, who's our avatar, Fenrir, and Vin. So watch these other ones do double in. So Fenrir and Viknir, who's our wolf. So if he's against Odin, he's Viknir, but if you're summoning, he's Fenrir. We have Bjorn and Ursa, and Loki's and Crocodilus. So the Crocodilus and Ursa are ones that you summon to, like, as regular evocations, and you can summon them. But using the Druidic spells, you can turn it into Bjorn or Loki, which are really neat. Yeah, and then we'll have our avatar stuff we'll go over when we get to the avatar, legendary setup, all of that stuff. We'll probably end up doing this in 2 parts. So part 1 we'll go over the mage and the spellbook, and then part 2 we will go over the avatar. Just because it gets a little bit long otherwise. Alright, so here is our mage. Pretty base stats. 10 health, 8 hand size, 2 attack, 2 move, 2 quests. So I like that he has the walking stick. He's like a druid character, but it kind of always it just initially reminds me of thinking like, so we're fighting Odin and there's Loki's a crocodile. Is this like Thor in like his human form? Is my thought. Of course, I'm also kind of basing this somewhat on comic books where like Donald Blake gets the walking staff to turn into Thor. But yeah, we're cool. And druidic things. He has like a big giant staff. He's got a big old beard there. So you can get a little bit closer look at him. He's got a little horn. Yeah, very Norse themed. Without being like straight up like Vikings and stuff. Because if you want that, you can check out ROTAS Studios' other game, Ragnar, which then we have Norse stuff in there, so that's pretty fun. Alright, what does Cormac bring to the table for a spell? So it's going to be summon an Ursa or summon a Crocodilus. So let's just take a look at those guys really quick then. So we're going to get a summoning Ursa, which is a big giant bear. I think he's got some like slash marks on him already. Like he's warring. Yeah, we just summon a bear to come do stuff for us. Or we just summon a Crocodilus. Which is a crocodile here, but he also has some sort of armor plating on his arms. Got like a neck plate, like a chain. Plus he's got his helmet. This definitely makes him very Loki-esque. But that's really cool as well. So let's look at the rest of his card and then we'll come back and we'll look at their stats to see what they do for us. So yeah, he gets to summon either one of them, or he has his animal affinity. I didn't actually read what his ability was. Inflicts damage, converts one instability, or choose an evocation with a health value of 3 or less, it activates under your control. And that's both of the ones we just had. So you can, someone else summons one of these guys, you can control them. It's actually a lot of them, for the most part, unless they're forgotten. So that's pretty fun there. So let's take a look at what each of these evocations do when we summon them. As we'll see a bunch of stuff that summons them throughout the game. We're going to have Ursa, who's a beast. This is when Ursa is defeated or removed and inflicts 1 damage in 1 space from himself. So wherever he's going to inflict damage every 1 last minute rage. And look at it, he normally does 1 speed, 3 attack, and 2 health. So he's going to do some damage. On the other hand, we have Crocodilus, who's also a beast. When Crocodilus performs an attack, if you are not the mage with the most rolls, gain 1 rose. So he's going to steal 1 for you. 3 movement, 1 attack, and 3 health. So it doesn't do as much damage, but he's going to steal points for you, which is really fun. Alright, then we have some forgotten spells. So we'll look at those. And those will tie into our other characters. So we have Gunry, who says, summons Odin. He is active. So this was a summon the big bad Odin. I don't think this base is going to be quite big enough. Let me grab my other one. Otherwise, we flip to the other side. We have inflict 4 damage to each evocation, or each mage. So it just straight up inflicts a bunch of damage. So there's Odin, riding on his horse Sleipnir, who has 8 legs. It's like a braided tail. That's pretty cool. The braids in the hair. I love the fact that they have stirrups. Like most games, whenever they show someone just riding, they don't have it. Like I have other miniatures where people are riding horses. Their legs are just hanging off. They don't bother to really worry about that. But I love the fact they have that detail of, you know, like the belt buckle on the bottom. Let's see if I can rotate this and get a little bit better view. Like, yeah, that belt buckle's on the bottom. Like, just that attention to detail is pretty cool. Yeah, he's holding, like, the reins even. That's definitely cool, man. And he's got a spear, Gunry. And I'm probably saying that wrong, and I apologize to all the Norse fans that are out there. The Norse fans and my wife were flipping out at me because I can't pronounce words. Alright, then up next we have Ragnarok Forgotten Spell, which summons Fenrir. Says I'm gonna summon a giant wolf to help us out. Or he has Persistent. You have +3 attack, +3 movement speed, and when you perform an attack, you may convert 1 health or 1 damage on each model. When you perform a attack, you may convert 1 instability on each square. Nice. So basically, it's just giving you a boost in power. So while this is out, you're going to be able to do a lot more damage, move around quicker, and every time you do damage, you can convert damage on the model. So you're already going to hurt them, plus you can take 1 more. And you can convert an instability in any room around you. So it's a pretty darn powerful spell. But again, do you want like that, or do you want a one-time big boost, or do you want a thing? So here's our big wolf. He has a bunch of swords sticking out of him. Interesting with the like metal or runic. It's probably more of like runic torso. That's pretty interesting. He's got like broken chains. Yeah, he's almost got like metal armor on his entire back half. Do we have a better picture of him in the book at all? Not really. Just the small ones. I was hoping maybe we had like, I wonder if his evocation card. No, so that still just has a little less, but that's alright. And there's Odin and Sleipnir. I wanted to see what that one looked like. Cool. So now we've seen those. We have, by the way, we have 3 Urzas and 3 Crocodilis. So we get 3 of each. So it's enough to do stuff with them. Let's take a look at our 2 evocation cards for our summoned Forgotten. So we have Odin's. So when you summon Odin, you perform an attack, choose up to 2 effects, and inflicts 1 damage to a model 1 space from himself, places 1 instability in that room for himself, or heals 2 damage. And he has 2 attack, 2 health, 2 movement, 2 attack, and 5 health. So every time he attacks, he's going to inflict extra damage on people around him, place instability, or heal himself back up. And you just do 2 of them. That's pretty nice. And then for Fenrir, we have Forgotten Beast. He has 4 movement, 5 attack, and 5 health. When Fenrir is defeated or removed, inflicts 3 damage in a space for himself. So even more powerful than Bear Ursa. But it's also interesting that he has a lot more movement and attack than Odin. But Odin has the ability to keep healing himself or do extra damage. So there's kind of that. But you'd think that the horse would be at least as fast. But what do I know? Alright. So, let's look at our deck. And we'll look at the other stuff in video part 2. So we have, let's zoom back out. We have the Druidic class, or spell school. So Guiding Spirit and Mystification. So very interesting. To note 2 things in here. We have 2 pack cards which have nothing on one side, and we'll see why. But also, no attacks on any of these, and there's only 2 attacks up there and some attacks and protection, so a lot of contingency in here. So what did Druidic spells do? Alright, we're going to have to zoom this back out a little bit here. Alright. Some of the spells in the school have transform into Bjorn or into Loki, keyword on the light side. When a mage resolves one of these effects, they're instructed to turn upside down the spell card so that the dark side is upwards. Having done this, they discard all equipment evocations in their possession and replace their mage model with the Ursa model if they're targeted transformed by Bjorn effect, or a Crocodilis model if they're targeted by transforming to Loki. As long as the mage is represented by one of these models, they're considered transformed. If the model is not available, the effect is ignored and the spell card therefore is not turned. On step 1 of the cleanup phase, a transformed mage may decide not to discard the spell card that transformed them, and in that case, after discarding the others, they move it into slot 3 of their mage sheet. The card that Transport on the Mage is discarded if the Transport Mage is defeated. The Transport Mage decides to discard that card in step 1 of the cleanup phase. The Transport Mage is a target of another Transform effect. I like that because it sounds like somebody else could transform them as well. Or as long as they're transformed, the Mage cannot have equipment evocation, ignore parts of the effect that summon them. So you can't, like, if I turn into Bajoran, who's an Ursa, someone else can't go to a thing and play a card that summons an Ursa and summon me across the board. Makes sense. Some spells still have effects with Bajoran or Loki keywords. Part of the effects after these keywords is applied only if the Mage is transformed into the indicated model. So this doesn't have any other, like, generalized special things. It's just going to be kind of an interesting little class, but its big thing is to change into one of these two. So let's go ahead and look at that. We have 3 copies of each of these spells, like usual. So we have the Pack of the Claw. So this says summon an Ursa model in space or transform it. And I love the fact it gives you both options. You can decide what you want to do. Then, if we transform, you have +1 attack. You can perform the following action. Charge physical action. Move up to 1. Move up to 1 to perform an attack against a model in that space. So cool. So basically, you can increase your attack by 1, which for most guys just puts them from 2 to 3. Most of the characters have 2 attack. But yeah, lets you get straight up and just perform extra attacks quicker. And there's nothing that says you can't keep casting other spells as long as you're transformed. This goes to slot 3, so it's out of your way, so you still cast the other 2 first. So that's kind of cool. They could have been like, oh, you can't cast anything while you're doing this. And obviously, you need to cast stuff so you can get your other effects. Alright, so then we have Frenzy. So it inflicts 2 damage, but if you're Bajoran, it also inflicts an additional 2 damage. So that's kind of cool. Oops. And we tip these right off. Alright, then we have the other side, summoning Ursa. If you're Bajoran, choose an evocation within a health value of 3 or less, it activates under your control. Ooh, this is going to have someone else help him. Should be summon more Ursas, so you can basically pull them together. Cool. Ration Leg. Inflict 1 damage for each instability in your space from the target max of 3. Or targeting whatever model you're targeting. Bajoran can perform an attack against that target. Ooh, that's cool. So it can be pretty devastating. Or the other side is a combat spell. Inflict 2, and Bajoran converts 1. We have Empathy. Targeting evocation with a health value less than 3 or less, it activates under your control. It's all about taking control of evocations. And then look at the top 3 cards from your Grimoire, draw 1, and then discard the others to your memories. So finding what you need. Alright, we have a protection spell, Fur of Thorns. Another Mage inflicts damage to you. Ignore 2 damage if you're Bajoran, you inflict 2 damage to whoever's in that area. And then you have the Trap spell, another Mage inflicts damage on you, you get a summoning Ursa. It's kind of funny, like, I hit you all, and you're like, here's a bear. Awesome, there we go. So we have Quick Reflexes, protection. If you're the target of an attack, ignore 2 damage, Bajoran may perform an attack against the thing. That's cool. So he's all about just doing straight up extra damage. And then if you are a Trap spell, if you're a target spell, inflict 2 damage, and then Bajoran inflicts another 1. Alright, then we have Lifeblood. Heal 2 damage on yourself. Heal 2 damage on each of your evocations. If you are Loki, you heal 2 damage on yourself as well. Nice. This will, the other one's doing damage. This is all be about healing. It's a good combination. Plus healing your evocations. Keep them guys alive. Heal 2 damage per system. You suffer at least 2 damage. Ignore 1 of those damage. We have Thriving Ground. Place 2 instability if you're Loki, convert an instability. So I think it's going to be his whole thing is about playing with instabilities. Convert 2 instabilities or place 1. So it's kind of neat. So you either place 2 and then convert 1. So if you need more to fill it up. Or if you need to gain the lead as your Loki or the other direction, you can convert 2 and then place 1. Just depends on where you're standing. Reinforcement, summoning a Crocodilus. If you're Loki, choose an evocation with a value of 3 less, it activates under your control. Nice, you can summon a Crocodilus and then maybe take control of another Crocodilus. That could be fun. Reinforcements, move up to 1 space. Place the instability in that space. If you're Loki, convert 1 and then place 1 in that space. Nice. So you gain 2 and then you technically gain a 3rd one. Solstice. Move up to 1 space, gain a power point. Loki moves up to 1, steal 1 rose from a mage in that space. Nice. On the other side, looks like 2 quest cards from the current moon, discard 1 of them, draw the other. Then we have our Loki transformation spell, Pact of the Jaws. Summon a Crocodilus in that space or transform into Loki. And if we flip him over, we have, as Loki, can perform the following actions. Deceive, a physical action. Target an evocation with a held value 3 less, it activates under your control. Subtract, physical action. Move up to 1 space, performing an attack against a model. If the target of that model is a mage, they lose 1 power point. Yeah, so you can choose whoever, but you also make people lose. So that's kind of, he's going to be playing instabilities and gaining rose points or decreasing your opponents. And Ursus is going to be running around dealing damage. Then the last one we have on here is Star Tiers. Draw 1 quest from the current moon. Loki, solve 1 of your active quests. And on the other side, we have choose one card from your memories, add it to your hand. If you're Loki, place 1 instability on that space. Very cool. So that's a really neat back and forth between them. We get some interesting miniatures for summons you can get out there to do different stuff, or we have a bunch of things you can turn to yourself, which then gives you extra effects on your cards. And there's generally no downside to turning into it. It would have been different if they would have been like, as the bear, you get +1 attack but -1 movement. Or as Loki, if they would have been like, you get an additional movement but you get 1 less attack or something like that. Like, there would have been like up and down sides, but basically you just gain benefits from turning into them. The only reason not to is if somebody else took the other guys and you can't do it. Or there might be very few instances you're about to die. It might make more sense to summon an evocation to have later, and then if you get hit the next turn, you're not all of a sudden losing your transformation immediately. So that is what we have for Northern Winds Part 1. Come back, check out Part 2. We'll look at the room, and the brand new room we have, and what that'll do for us, as well as the Avatar deck. Alright, see you guys there. Bye.